Hello everybody and welcome to FaceTime. I'm your host, Hazza. The entire foreign trade sector is facing unprecedented challenges due to COVID-19, with many overseas orders cancelled or reduced. And the latest session of the Canton Fair, for the first time since it was inaugurated in 1957, will be held online after being postponed by 2 months. Today I'm in Panyu district of Guangzhou at a speaker factory owned by an American. Now they export 95% of their products to American and European markets. So I'm interested to find out what's on their online Canton Fair agenda. The 127th session of the China Import and Export Fair, also known as the Canton Fair, is gearing up to go online from June 15th through to 24th due to the COVID-19 pandemic, helping foreign trade enterprises expand their market shares and tide over difficulties. Philip Richardson is a Canton Fair regular who joined the show for the first time in 1996.
The first time I came to China was in 1996. I was sent over here from a customer to audit a Chinese company in Huadu. I had to see if the systems were in place and to see if they were ready to manufacture loudspeakers for the automotive OEM in North America. And I qualified the system, I qualified the company, audited them very deeply. I spent about 7 days there auditing, and I was welcomed, and it was just a phenomenal experience. It's a wonderful experience coming to China in '96 during those times, and that was the beginning of my career of manufacturing speakers in China.
I'm interested to know, as an expat-owned business, how important is the Canton Fair to your operations and to your sales?
In the mid-90s up until 2015, the Canton Fair was a critical show to attend and to exhibit. We're most likely to attend because the Canton Fair hosts and has critical suppliers to the manufacturer of speaker parts. Speaker parts have several parts. They have rubber cone sound assemblies, spiders, and voice coils. And in the Canton Fair, the actual manufacturer of these components were there. And it was important because I was able to meet the actual manufacturers of the top plate, of the magnet, of the T-yoke, and all of the parts. During those times, the Canton Fair really had a focus of the suppliers, of the actual manufacturers at the DNA level of parts manufacturing, of component manufacturing. And that was very important to me up until 2015.
In 2009, Philip built his own original equipment manufacturer, or OEM, speaker factory to take his vision of loudspeaker manufacturing to an unprecedented premium OEM level in Panyu district of Guangzhou.
Here's the real deal on manufacturing. Where a product is made is not as important as who is making it.
Okay.
Right now you can see the worker is screwing the plate onto the speaker cabinet.
Okay.
And we have an SOP that shows you where to screw and how much force to screw. We have an SOP for every single item procedure on the production line. Okay?
How do you ensure quality control in your production?
Quality control is not a function of what you say, it's more of how you measure. We're doing a very fundamental listening test, right? Okay. But maybe she's having a bad day. Maybe she can't hear that well. Or she has a flu or a head cold, she can't hear that well. So we do a complete system sweep. Okay. Right? And by having a microphone, and testing whether the system is good or bad, that's how you can prove it's good or bad 100%.
Wow.
Just like that.
So each individual speaker is
100%.
Tested before being sent out. Good. That's
100%.
That's fantastic. So what would you say to people who, even in 2020, still look at Chinese produced goods and automatically think, you know, there's going to be a sacrifice in terms of quality?
People will make comments China is behind times or is at risk, don't know what they're talking about. Look at your high quality shoes that you have on now. That's made in China.
Yeah.
There's a delta, there's a actual metric that you can show the customer to ensure that you are keeping quality and consistently on every single one. That's what we do here. We do 100% testing.
So how many speakers can you produce here in one day?
Well, we can put together, we can assemble 200 complete systems per day. But it isn't putting this together, it's the time that it takes to make the actual driver.
Right.
So if there's 1,000 driver, that's going to take 10 days to make the driver. And there's 1,000 tweeters, it can take 7 days to make a tweeter. Then an additional per day to put it all together in a box. So to make 200 pair, it's a good 21 days of manufacturing time process to make it all in 1 day.
More than 95% of his products are built for export to the USA and European markets.
To make sure that we are making a quality product, the metric is to test it.
Okay.
And to test it, you have to test the speaker in an anechoic environment. So maybe you want to come up here and take a look at this.
Wow. This is kind of very futuristic.
So this is how we quantify our drivers. We make sure we're giving a quality driver by measuring it in an anechoic environment.
Wow. So is this a microphone?
This is the microphone, and the speaker plays into the microphone.
Wow.
And the speaker and the microphone picks up the character of the speaker only. And if you walk to the end, just walk on the catwalk. Walk on the catwalk. And then walk on the catwalk,
Okay.
Now, scream as loud as you can into that wedge.
Oh!
Scream louder than that, come on. There you go. See how quiet it is?
It's quiet, and I feel like, you know, if I'm facing this way listening to you, I feel like you're much further away than you actually are.
It's the reflections in your life that create the balance.
Yeah.
Without any reflections, you don't have balance.
This is incredible. I hope we're not revealing any industry secrets by filming this. But wow, I've never seen this before. Wow.
Philip's business in China has grown alongside the evolution of the Canton Fair.
So I imagine it would be totally different to what it is today.
The Canton Fair today is a different animal than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, so do you have any interesting stories from those early years?
I remember meeting some companies in the Canton Fair in the earlier years, and they were hungry and they're willing to learn, and they asked me for suggestions, and they took it. And now those companies are some of the most powerful component manufacturers in the world today. And it was just really exciting to see the hunger and the want to do better. And so the spirit of the Canton Fair really brings some very good manufacturers.
And I guess the Canton Fair, it's evolved over the years. I imagine in the early years it was spread across different venues. Some people were exhibiting in hotels, while others were in you know, basketball courts and things like that. But now we've got a specific location that it's held at every year. And this year, another evolution has been forced upon the Canton Fair because of COVID-19. It's going fully online for this edition. What's your take on that? As
an engineer and for purchasing people, most as an engineer, we like to touch and feel and see the actual part and meet people. And there's no replacement for shaking hands and meeting the actual person. But since that isn't possible, by being online, we're able to maybe cut our expenses and see the breadth of exhibitors. And if we see something that's interesting online, then we can have detailed discussions with that person online. So in one aspect, having an online Canton Fair can be useful if you know what you're looking for. I guess for some people, they're thinking, if this year is a success, or if this session is a success online, perhaps in the future it could continue.
Do you think that would be something that would work, or would you still prefer the face-to-face interactions?
I think that if you have a hybrid, if you combine online with actual physical presence, that's better. You don't. People spend a lot of money to come to China to physically attend the Canton Fair, and it is tiring. If they're coming just to look around, it's tiring. But if they're coming for very specific needs, if you had a physical exhibitors showing their goods and coupled that with exhibitors online, I think it'll work. I think it could work if it was strategically planned.
So if it is a success, perhaps it could become a new element of the physical Canton Fair. I guess it's also an opportunity for people that have never been to the Canton Fair to get a taste of it. So perhaps in the future, if we can combine the two, it will be a good thing. But I want to know, what is on your Canton Fair agenda for this session? Will you be participating in any way, shape or form?
I will make the effort at attending the Canton Fair this year. I want to see the companies that have made it through these curious times. I want to see if they made it and if they've been affected by the business, what lessons I can learn. Although it's been devastating for some companies, it's been very good for others, and the healthy companies have learned how to become lean and filter and really hone in on their efficiencies in manufacturing product. And if they're strong and they're exhibiting the show, I want to meet some of those people and maybe there's lessons to be learned from them. You bet. So I do have an interest in attending.
Fantastic. Well, obviously we know it's going online because of COVID-19.
Right.
And here in China, things have been stabilized quite quickly, and I mean, the virus has been pretty much controlled domestically, but overseas, a lot of countries are still facing a huge issue with the pandemic. So do you think that will have an effect on participation? Because I guess some people in perhaps Brazil and some other countries which have really huge numbers of infections, people there, they might not be so focused on business right now. They're focused on staying healthy and safe. Do you think that will have an impact?
Because coming to China is a tough decision caused by the media. There is no real issues in China that I've experienced, and I'm traveling and drive. I live here. I'm immersed deeply. There is no real issues, but the media, I think, in North America is blowing it out of control. It's fine. We're open since February 10. All of our suppliers have been open since the end of February. People that make decisions to send their purchasing people or engineers to China, are they ready? Do they understand how to navigate during these curious times? It's more the question. China is ready, but I'm not sure if the rest of the world has a grasp on it yet.
And you mentioned earlier that the Canton Fair hasn't been a huge part of your business operations for quite a few years, but is the fact that it's not being held this year, will that have any impact on you at all? I mean, the fact that it's not being held physically in Guangzhou, will that impact you at all?
The Canton Fair, in its beginning, served a very important purpose to us as a manufacturer because of the breadth of the components of the DNA level. But on the other hand, a lot of exhibitors, a great deal of exhibitors today, have a full understanding of turnkey. So now, instead of presenting them, instead of just showing a component on their booth, they're showing the final product with packaging and instruction manuals in English. And so, and that makes it easier for buyers of a final product. They don't have to go through the exercise or the pain of teaching them how to make a final product packaging. The Chinese have a very good handle on that. And so by having online, I think if the factories can focus on showing their turnkey products ready to go, it'll be very good.
And some people have brought up the question of, why should I take part in this online Canton Fair if I can just go on AliExpress, or I can, search online and I mean, is that a fair point, or do you think that the Canton Fair being online will actually
the Canton Fair online has, for the large part, filtered exhibitors. The people that exhibit in the Canton Fair for the large part, are the actual manufacturers versus AliExpress or Alibaba, whatever. They're not. We don't know if they're the actual manufacturers, but the vetted manufacturers online at Canton Fair are what separates the real from the not.
China's role as the world's factory will not be changed due to the outbreak of the novel coronavirus. On the contrary, thanks to its enormous market and complete industrial system, as well as foreign capital and investment that does not show signs of wanting to withdraw from China, the country will further strengthen its position in this regard.
Now, we have heard some talk that there are plans in the United States to encourage American factories based here in China to move back to the United States. What's your take on that? Obviously, I mean, you are succeeding as an American here with a factory in China. So would you ever consider moving operations back home?
Absolutely not. The legislators have this idea to take the tariffs that they took from imports to help pay for the move of American companies back to the United States, but it's cost prohibitive. There is no greater resource on the planet than in China to manufacture what we do. China has the greatest resources of copper, aluminum, steel, magnets, paper cones, you name it. It is not interesting for us to move back to the United States. We will not.
And I guess, I mean, if tariffs were imposed on your products, that would be an instance where tariffs imposed by the United States was affecting an American business person in China.
Our products, we don't buy products made in USA for the use of manufacturing. All of our products are either made in Taiwan or Japan for magnets. So we are really not affected by the tariffs.
Could you give us your prediction for how you perhaps see what the future might be like between the United States and China in terms of trade? Do you think we might see things move in a positive direction eventually?
Is the manufacturer to the world since 30, 40 years ago. And China has built a very stable and sustainable manufacturing effort of being the manufacturer to the world. There is no way that the United States can afford not to use China as a manufacturer. It doesn't make sense. They tried, but even Apple opened a factory in Taiwan because it was too expensive to open up in the United States. So I think that it's an election year, and the existing president is doing what he can on his saber rattling to promote American nationalism, but really China is going to be just fine, and the United States will continue to buy from China, and China, USA will hash it out and make things work. That's how I see it.
Fingers crossed. I mean, you know, the United States is not the only country that is experiencing some trade tensions with China at the moment. Obviously, I'm from Australia, and there are some less than pleasant exchanges going on at the moment, but I also hope that things will improve in the future, just out of personal interest as an American here in China. I know, you know, when I log on to the internet and interact with my friends back home, and sometimes I hear different opinions from my friends back home, and they want to know my take on things, and it really does open your eyes to the fact that there are huge misunderstandings between the peoples of both countries. As somebody who's basically caught in the middle, like, how do you navigate that?
Well, I'm not caught in the middle. China's my home. I'm entrenched. My wife is here with her factory. My daughter's attending British school, and this is my home. I'm not caught in the middle. The people that have these comments, the people in the United States, at least the friends that have these comments about China who live in the United States, are basing their comments from media. I live here, and I'm telling you, it's not what the media purports. Maybe there is some truth to some of this stuff, but we're not experiencing it at all, at least not in our business or on my side.